In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on, bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Defend Your Movie. This is the Cool Breeze, a.k.a. Andrew Fiore. Thank you guys for bearing with us over the past week while we ran a repeat, but me and Dutch, a.k.a. Sean Donnelly, who's sitting right across from me.
Yay! Hello, Cool Breeze.
We just couldn't make it happen last week.
We couldn't do it last week. It was schedules and everything got screwed up, so we apologize for the repeat. We were both away, and it became a problem. But thank you guys for being patient and coming back to us and being faithful defenders.
Yes. Thank you, defenders. I thought it would be a fun episode. We replayed the first episode that I was ever on.
Yes.
Which we did, and I listened back on my flight because I forgot, and it was Big Lebowski versus Rudy. I don't know. I don't know how we made that one work.
I don't know how we did that one. I didn't listen back to the episode, but that makes no sense.
Yeah, well, we framed Big Lebowski as a sports movie. Bowling.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that makes more sense now.
Bowling framed.
Oh, God. All right. It's been nice doing the show. Thanks so much.
That was
Never
my point,
speak
though.
to me again.
We were so bubbly and giddy for the first time I think we were doing it together.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like when two dogs meet in the park for the first time. And we were just like, you got new smells and everything. Everything was fresh. And now we know each other's tricks. And
yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
Oh, it's just Sean.
Well, it's
Great.
so funny because I have my dog for a week. I have a bulldog.
The baby's here.
Let's introduce our guest before I tell this. Such a great person. We lights up a room when she walks
Absolutely.
in. Friend of the show, Seinfeld fanatic, Gabby Kaufman. Everybody,
Hey, old Hoops Kaufman. She's got her trademark hoops on today.
I'm wearing hoops to show that I'm fun, but glasses to show that I mean business.
Nice. I love it.
That's your whole weekend right there. Just
that's
in the
right.
daytime it's business. At night it's party time.
Right.
No, I think we've actually mentioned Gabby on the podcast before. We both love her, and she goes in hard with the Seinfeld cuts, and I was like one of the gang immediately.
Absolutely. She knows.
Yeah.
I would say you don't think you know as much as we know about Seinfeld, but I think you do. Because you bring up like really like inside baseball Seinfeld stuff all the time that I'm like, oh my God, that's a great scene. And then you're like, yeah, but I don't know as much as you guys. And I think
know
you do.
the show very well, but the two of you have this telepathic thing where with absolutely zero context and zero conversation previous, you can just say one word that is not invented.
That is true.
One of you will go ahoy, and I would go what, and you'd go when George says ahoy.
Ahoy there.
Ahoy there.
I need a little,
One of the funniest written lines in TV history.
It's the line where the guy, he wants to get the apartment of the guy who was in the shipwreck.
Yeah.
And when he sees him in the hallway or in the apartment or whatever, he goes, ahoy there.
It's so funny.
Do you know why it's such a great line? Because it's so spot on for fucking George.
Right.
Because he's such an evil motherfucker that's why he does it. He's trying to be a shithead. Yeah. That's why it's such a great line. Ahoy there.
Ahoy there. A guy who was on a sinking ship.
And then when he finds out it was only like 20 people sank, he was like, that's it? He's
12 hours.
That's
like an old man getting into a tub.
I think if I perform today, we need to do a Defend Your Seinfeld.
We had our other buddy, Mark Normand, on for Defend Your Sign. And the episode went viral amongst the defenders.
Yeah.
And we're going to do another one. We just want to give it a little breathing room because technically what we do is movies. But you're absolutely in on the next one.
I mean, there's so much you could do. Defend your episode, defend your character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a huge, it was just us quoting our favorite episodes for an hour.
And it was-
people seem to take to it.
Oh,
so.
it was the easiest episode ever because you just jump from thing to thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's what me and Gabby were doing today, which does relate to movies, is we're trying to just name the Seinfeld fake movie titles.
Which
Yes.
I don't think we ever like sat down and started trying to name them all, but I think organically we tried naming them one time, and I think you nailed all of them because you said Rochelle, sack lunch, prognosis
Don't
negative.
you want to know how they got in there?
And sack lunch is paired with means to an end.
No.
Yes.
Means to an end is...
Oh, no, blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. You're right.
Seeing,
What is it?
what,
I love Jerry's. Blame it on the rain. When Nikki, the beautiful girl, can get
Yeah.
him in anything, and then Elaine and Todd Gack.
Yeah.
one of the great all-time Seinfeld
What is
guest
that, Dutch?
names. Yeah.
He goes, enjoy blame it on the rain. And I did that one to Gabby today. What was I doing? You were like, oh, thanks for getting me a ticket. I did the,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for getting us tickets, by the way.
Yeah. Because she goes, oh, we wanted to see that too, but it's all sold out. And he goes, see what you can do? She
Why don't you
goes,
see what you can do, Nick?
see what you can do? There's no tickets left.
Jerry just goes, we'll see.
And then she gets him out of the speeding ticket.
Get him
Right?
out
He
of
goes-
speeding ticket.
He goes, all right, Nick. He goes, all right, Nick, let's hit it. He's in the car. He's like, all right, let's hit it. Like she just gets back in the car and they go.
The other beautiful part of that movie is when Todd Gack does the trick that he got Elaine on a date with, and she goes, Elaine, she'll solve this. What does the M stand for in Richard M. Nixon? She goes, Millhouse. C, he said it was Mo.
One of the more
You owe me dinner.
kind of poetic, like nicely
Mo.
tied up endings to an episode is the two of them going out together.
Yeah, you Gack?
Kind of a classic, like, sitcom-y ending. Of,
Oh,
like,
they tied everything
They
up.
tied it all
was,
in with
yeah.
Gack.
It
Because
was
then Kramer shows up with the change from the Italian,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
calzone
calzone.
place. He goes, "You Gack," and then he just hits him. And he goes, "Hey, "This is for you," and he hits him with the giant bag of change.
It's in my top 10. It's in my top 10. I have my top like 8 all saved on my DVR now.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll just I'll catch it on and I'll go click.
What did you say? What your favorite one is?
Non-fat yogurt.
Oh yeah, that's right. Non-fat yogurt
I
is
love
great.
non-fat. I love how Kramer keeps calling Jerry fat the whole time in different ways.
Yeah.
Hey, Chubbs, I got a 90 in biology. You keep calling me Chubbs all the time, you're going to be walking home.
The glasses is great. With the one he goes,
glasses.
Hey Dwayne, he goes, all right, we'll talk to you. And when he goes, I got that guy off sugar. And then one of the best lines ever is he
I
walks
know.
up to George. He goes, George with the glasses
I know,
on. He goes,
pretzel.
And he goes, may I have one of those, madam? And he goes, what? They're ladies'
It
glasses.
says right here, Gloria Vanderbilt collection. But we could do this. We could do this literally
do it
all
all
day.
day.
So we did it. Yeah, we had Chunnel. We had Rochelle, a young woman's journey, erotic journey from London
London
Mints.
Mints.
Prognosis
Right.
negative.
Death Blow, which Prognosis Negative is actually the script that Larry David wrote.
Yeah, did you know that? Larry David.
told her that earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah.
She knows it
Well,
now.
I do love the Easter eggs of when the movie, quote unquote, is playing and it's Larry's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear him in Chunnel.
And Channel, he goes, everybody get in the channel.
That's when they go with Susan, and she gets mad at them for talking the whole time.
Yeah, because he's like,
She's like, what's that guy doing in the Chunnel?
so that must be the movie phone one because he screws up the movie times because of
Yes.
because
Oh,
Kramer had movie
yes.
phone.
Yes.
And there's also
Hello.
a show at 8.
Why
Hello.
don't you just tell me the movie you want to see?
Oh, Brown Eyed Girl. That's
Oh yeah, you're right.
one.
There's a bunch of them.
There's one. It's
the,
Mount.
one with, the one that he does
Nicolas
the ad
Cage.
for. There's
Yeah.
no, not Nicolas Cage.
It's
Kevin
a-
Bacon.
Yeah. And,
And he goes, there's nothing higher than
Mountain
High.
there's no better high than Mountain High. Yeah, that's a great one.
so
Brown Eyed
good.
Girl. And then the whole English Patient episode, which is a real movie.
But it's
but
a real movie, though. Yeah, I think about the fake movies.
Yeah. There's a few I know we're forgetting. What was the other one we were talking about? It's not Death Blow, but it's like, go Death Blow!
Go on, here we go, Death Blow! That's what he says when he sits down. He goes, here we go, Death Blow! And he's like, the guy's filming it next to him.
What is the movie that they're seeing in the episode where they're all trying to meet each other?
Oh.
Great question.
Because it's like-
That's Rochelle on one hand.
Right, but there's a movie that is
Yes.
like supposedly came out and we didn't see.
'Cause that's the
But
comic.
then it's like, oh, there's gonna be another screen. It's like Millennium something.
Hey, did you see Rochelle?
About
I
the
hear it's really hot.
2000s.
Barry Diamond, comic. That guy's a comic in real life, Barry Diamond.
That guy was great. That's the guy who goes, Jerry,
played an annoying comic perfectly. I know 10 of those guys.
Absolutely. Well, that's the one when he goes, Jerry, can you take my jacket for the
So
summer?
funny. So funny.
And he goes,
I'm going to drop that on you this winter.
What the?
I'm going to drop when you're unsuspecting. I'm going to go, Sean, I have to ask you a favor. Can I keep my jacket in your closet? Jerry, I want you to have this piece of material. I can't do the voices. But we could do this all day.
I think we're in danger of doing it all.
Yeah,
day.
you're absolutely right.
We do have a great matchup today, but before we get to that, I watched a bunch because we've been gone for 2
for a
weeks.
couple
I
weeks,
missed you, buddy.
And you were away.
And I was away. I was on the road, so I took in 4 new things. We can just touch on both of them lightly, but Gabby, you're our guest, and we were talking about, you saw a few things recently.
Yes.
One of which we argued about.
Yes. Do you want to argue about it again?
You can bring it up. We can just say your reason.
I saw Joker last weekend, or maybe the weekend before.
And
I did not fancy it.
Really? That's
I thought you were
interesting.
going to live in color as hated it.
Why didn't you like it, if I can ask?
So
I totally could see somebody not like it. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people thought it was too violent.
Who did you go with? Because we went together and we were skipping afterwards.
two of my girlfriends.
Did they not like it also?
I think one of them did, one of them didn't.
Because I feel like sometimes when you go with people,
yes,
they influence
your
you.
opinion is colored by totally.
You can almost feel their energy of not liking it.
Yeah, and you go, I guess so. You may like that.
I love Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I thought he was great in it.
See, that troubles me then, because I don't see how you couldn't like the movie, because I don't think you couldn't like the movie because the whole thing was just a character study of...
Right, okay, so here's the thing. It's not like I was like bored watching it. I just kind of didn't feel anything.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. I could say a lot of people didn't like it.
I did think it was a little violent. Maybe I'm a violence prude. I was really disturbed by the Late Show killing.
Well, yeah, so is I.
It's supposed to be disturbing.
It's super disturbing. It's weird how they do it, because he shoots him real quick, and there's not any drama to it. He just shoots him and he's there.
That's why it's to me.
It's also, they misdirect you so hard, because he acts out what he's going to do, kill himself. You're expecting that to go down, and then
I almost didn't even expect him to kill himself. I thought maybe he'd end up in a shootout with the security or something.
Yeah.
I thought something was going to come to a foot, and then he has to get out of there. I don't know what I thought. I just did not think he would turn 3 feet.
Realistic that he killed his idol.
We're glossing over come to a foot. I don't know.
Wait, what?
What did I say? To a head. That's what I meant to
something
say.
was going to come to a foot.
Wait.
I'm doing. I don't know if that. I don't know if that math adds up.
I just translated it in my head.
No, it's something's a foot. Something's a foot.
The combination.
And come to a head. All right, sorry. I worked out today. I'm very tired.
Well, can I ask you a question about the film? Are we supposed to think that he killed his neighbor?
It's up for debate.
There's a lot of people that think that he did. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did, because why would we not see that?
Well, because that part is all psychologically in his head.
Right.
A lot of people are also saying, did he even see her when he went back to her apartment? Where it was like, no, because they would have shown that. But
no, when she comes in, you mean?
He has a history with the little guy. He was like, "You're the only one nice to me," and that's why she wasn't mean.
That's why I think he didn't do
exactly.
it. That's why I think he did it, because she wasn't mean to him at all, and she was just freaked out by him.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I believe me, I never get. I didn't know Sixth Sense. I don't get things. I'm along for the ride with movies.
I'm a literalist.
I knew that. Right. I knew that she was not his girlfriend in the movie. I knew right away when the conversation they have when she comes to the door and she's like, "Were you following me?" I didn't think of that as playful at all. I was like, he's dreaming this right now.
Yeah.
I just knew it right away.
That I bought, but when she goes to the hospital with him, I was like, no.
A lot of people were like,
that's when I came out of it.
Yeah. Pump the brakes on this relationship. Jeez Louise. Mom in the hospital.
But I think that the fact that he let the little guy go is the same reason that we've talked about this a lot in the show, but I think the apartment scene, I think, is the last real thing that happened in the movie. I am convinced of that, and there's a theory. We talked about this on the show, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys, we've done a lot of Joker.
Yeah, there's a whole theory that the whole third act, the whole show scene is in his head.
Well,
because the joke it's a joke you wouldn't understand. at the very end.
At the end, why do they have that scene at the end? It's so supplemental. He's already the Joker. He's on top of the car. He's doing the Christ complex.
I thought that very last scene was tacked on as well.
I loved the footprints.
I mean,
and the Keystone
it's
Cop-ish
really
kind of
cool.
way.
It's really cool.
No,
yeah.
I liked that. Looking at it artistically, whatever, but I did think it made more sense to end with him on the car.
You know what Gabby is right now?
What?
She's English patienting us, and we're Peterman, and she's Elaine.
I'm gonna get fired.
We love it. Everybody else loves it.
I'm gonna get
And she
fired just
hates
like
it.
Elaine. I will say I got one. I was in a completely full theater. I got one very solid laugh, like fully cackled in the theater.
Quit playing with that thing.
Sorry. It was the mic flag for context.
I want to know if it's the same part we laughed out loud.
Well,
When he drops the gun at the hospital.
no.
Oh, we both cackled.
We lost our mind.
That
He just goes, shh.
that was genuinely funny. But when he pulls out item by item,
Oh, yeah.
the fridge, and then
yeah.
and then simply gets inside.
That was
I was so just befuddled that I had to laugh.
that was improv. He wasn't supposed to do that.
Uh-huh.
He
That
just
makes
did
it
it.
even funnier.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
Apparently, the whole Todd Phillips and all of them were just watching him do it, like in awe, like what the hell is going on?
That's great.
Yeah, and that's why. Here, this will be worth it while we're talking about it, because we should stop talking about it because we talk so much about
ad
it.
nauseum.
There's definitely going to be a sequel.
I read that
I
yesterday.
saw that online. People probably know, but that's a little bit of a news.
I just read it from Sammy's post.
Sam Morrill's post?
Yeah.
Where he wants to be more in the movie.
He was just, yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about Sam doing a set on the Joker set. Relax, Sam. Fucking, this great movie. He's like,
I know.
maybe next time I can do more than one joke. It's like, relax. It doesn't matter.
The biggest grossing film of the year.
But he was in it, though. His jokes were in it. But,
Yeah, he got some.
But there's definitely going to be a sequel, which is pretty cool.
I hope they tiptoe with it, man, because don't fuck it up.
I don't think they. You know what? I can't say if they
Yeah,
will or
who
not.
I don't
knows?
think tiptoeing
Every
is-
time
you
I
can't
do that.
tiptoe in those big shoes.
I mean,
Hey!
tread lightly. All right, and
Clown
mean
joke.
for everything to come afoot.
All right, I'm an idiot.
Well, anyway, we both liked it, but that's okay. And you saw something else you didn't
I
love.
wasn't bored. It's better to not like something than to be bored, I think.
Which brings us to your second film.
Right. God, I sound like a hard ass. I saw The Lighthouse also.
Oh, see, I haven't seen it because I think I'm going to be bored watching it.
I kind
You
of
know
think
what?
that too, but
Sitting in this room with you two guys could have starred in that movie.
too old salt.
Yeah.
we call it The Longshoreman.
Yeah, we're like Captain McAllister from The Simpsons. Just go, I know nothing about the sea.
Willem Dafoe, great actor.
And Robert Pattinson. I
heard he's great in
I'm
it.
probably the Robert Pattinson.
Right, sure.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. I don't have any interest to see it, but I hear both of their performances are fantastic.
So the entire movie, they are the only two people.
Yeah.
Which is
which is
It's a
hard to
tough
pull
go.
off.
That's quite
That's a tough
lift.
go.
Yeah. And never leaves the island that they're lighthousing on.
that they're illuminating.
That's
I
different
was-
from gaslighting.
I
Just so
was,
you know.
really,
Yeah.
I was really glad I saw it because it's black and white. It's like small format. I don't know how to say that.
Do you
but-
usually like those types of movies?
No, I never really see those types of those types of movies don't really come out anymore. You have to watch
Yeah,
an
it's
old
true.
movie.
Yeah.
But, so I was glad I saw it, and I was glad I saw just these two guys the whole time just carrying this movie.
Use two guys.
And it's definitely you're not bored, and it's
Oh, really? Because I'm worried. Are you being serious?
Oh, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No. I was worried about the pacing of the film.
So, no, it's their descent into madness.
I love a good descent
And-
into madness film.
I don't think this is really.
I do. I love a good
I don't think,
dissension.
I don't
You
think
said
it's
that like
giving
it's a
anything
genre.
away.
It is. It kind of is a subgenre.
He goes, I love a great
what I-
I mean,
madness
Shining,
flick.
Joker. It's absolutely a
It is true.
subgenre.
This is the subgenre is they're out there and they slowly realize no one's coming to get them and they're on this remote island together.
On a completely non sequitur, one of my favorite. I love bathroom graffiti, like living in the East Village. I just love like those dive bar bathrooms and people
This movie
scribble
doesn't have
whatever.
any spray
Yeah.
paint.
My favorite one, I have a picture with it. I have it on the last page of my website, on my contact page. It just says a picture that says, "No one is coming for you. It's okay."
Oh, really?
I love it. It was just like, I took a picture. It's my favorite thing.
You know, it's interesting because in a bathroom, that's kind of a reassuring sentiment.
Yeah, unless
No
you're
one's
a
Yeah.
coming to get you.
Yeah, relax. Take a poop. Don't worry about it.
Do a
Nobody's
bump
coming
and-
for you.
No, yeah.
But But that's like, I think that also when you have one of those movies that taps into a fear that everybody has, which like, that's why Castaway was kind of like that. It was like the thing where it's like maybe nobody's coming for him.
Yeah.
All that, anything on your stranded island, anything is like,
a little,
oh my God, you're putting yourself in the place of those dudes.
Would you say it's a Waiting for Godot kind of take? If you've ever, to get a little lofty, it's, the plot of Waiting for Godot is these two guys, they're literally waiting for Godot, a guy they've never met before. So the idea of him gets built up so much in their head that the guy can never live up to it, but then he just never comes.
Well, in a
so
way.
it's like, that's like the, waiting for Godot.
One of the conflicts of the movie is
Read a
that...
book,
You know what I call that? I call that me meeting a girl on Bumble. That's what I waiting for Godot her, and then I build it up, and then we never meet up. That's what happens.
That could be. Let's playwright that.
It's like an internet date.
a studio would buy a 21st century take.
Totally,
Waiting for Godot.
100%.
Absolutely, you're
Sponsored
absolutely
by
right.
Bumble.
All right, we're copywriting that, so nobody steal it.
That's ours.
But what did you watch, Andy?
I watched a really great, touching, heartfelt movie, The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh,
okay.
Highest grossing
You know what's keeping me-
independent film of the year.
No way,
I
really?
did not know that, and I think our buddy Mike Feeney, former guest of the podcast, still completely wrong about.
He's in it?
No, he's not in it. He recommended it.
Oh,
to
he
me.
recommended it to you.
He's still wrong about Catch Me If You
I
Can.
went real big with that guess.
I know. I'm like, no, he defended Catch Me If You Can on this podcast. He's not in the highest independent grossing film of the year.
You know what's keeping me away from it?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but he's good, and it's. So it's a story. You guys both know it. It's,
I know the story now.
The plot is he plays kind of a fisherman, kind of outlaw kind of kid who's down on his luck. He's like stealing lobster traps. It takes place in Louisiana, and the B story is that there's a kid with Down syndrome who his family left him, and the only resources the state has is to put him in a old folks home. So his roommate is Bruce Dern, who's great. Bruce
Dern's fantastic.
Oh my God.
Bruce Dern in Nebraska is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sounds like a tearjerker.
Do you know they're making Nebraska too?
Are they really?
No.
Nebraska 2, South Dakota.
Gabby, go that flow.
With the zinger.
So the kid.
Here we go, Deplo.
So the kid basically has been watching the same pro wrestling tape for 10 years. And it's an advertisement for this wrestling school. And it's basically the story of the kid escaping the old folks' home, and he hides out on this boat, and then Shia LaBeouf's character there's like a hot pursuit of him getting away from the guys who he stole from.
Yeah.
And then he discovers the kid on his boat, and then the movie goes from there. And it's really it's like I was reluctant at first as well, but then I loved it. It's a really like fun, I hate using the word heartfelt again, but it's
good.
Just that's what it is.
Deeply weird, it sounds.
It's a little strange, but that's why it's great.
That's what you want.
But
you know what it is when we're in a world where every story has been told,
right?
If you have something kind of
you need a kid in an old folks home, and you need a couple guys guarding a lighthouse.
Exactly. I watched something as well.
It was really good. Highly recommended.
I watched Rear Window again. Haven't seen it in some years.
Mr. Criterion Collection. Didn't know we were
That's our Dutch for you. We're Dutch in the Cool Breeze, by the way.
Dutch in the
That's
Cool
our
Breeze.
nicknames.
It's my favorite Hitchcock movie. I haven't watched it in a little while. It's
great.
Good what he does in this movie,
and it's cool. It's good to see Jimmy Stewart and like not that. It's just like
it's good.
It's not that.
He's not bedridden. He's in a wheelchair the entire. It's almost the whole movie takes place in one set.
Right.
The whole thing's one set.
Yeah, the tension.
The tension
is
so good. The first time I ever saw it.
Here's my point about Jimmy Stewart is that everybody's just oh yeah, what a wonderful life. It's just like. And you have some money, and and Bill's house and Fred's house. It's like it's serious. Jimmy Stewart, he's brilliant.
Well, Hitchcock
is that him running around?
Is responsible. Anything different for Stewart
right.
is Hitchcock because he did Vertigo. He did
North by Northwest.
So even those were more straight up than this. This is a little bit more. It's a little bit deeper, I think. Like their relationship's deeper. It's Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
And she's
Princess
like
Grace.
Princess Grace
Will you,
Kelly.
if you please.
Yeah, but I. You believe this guy? Know who the princesses are.
Monaco.
So no, but you're absolutely right. Like the tension. First time I ever saw this movie, I think I've talked about this in the show before. First time I ever saw it was on I was at my grandmother's house in Jersey, and it was on TV, and we're watching it. Nanny, we called her Nanny, and we're watching it, and I'm like, I was so zoned in on it, I got scared of the movie. Like it was scary. Like it was
kind of suspenseful. It's a thriller, yeah.
But it still works. A lot of movies like that can't pull that off 50 years later. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're like, this is corny. It's old. Whatever it is.
That's when you know the classics, man.
Yeah.
I got sucked into Cool Hand Luke again. It's so fucking.
I watched Psycho again.
Oh, recently. I have a present for you, and I didn't bring it. Damn it! Let me tell you what it is.
Yeah, because I just kind of said Cool Hand Luke, and it made you think of something.
I did. It definitely did. It's a book called the Last Golden Age of Hollywood about all the 70s movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, he knows that's my decade. I love it.
Yeah. So I'll bring it next time. I'll bring it this
something
weekend
for Christmas too.
You don't have to get me anything.
Yeah, but the holidays are coming up. And then real quick, I watched yesterday the movie which is why you said "Hey Jude" in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
there's a universal blackout, and then everybody wakes up, but this one guy is the only person who remembers the Beatles, and he's a struggling musician.
Oh,
so he can play all the songs, and he's starting to remember.
Yeah, what is it called?
Yesterday.
Oh, it's called Yesterday.
Yeah. And it wasn't bad. It was I watched it with my mom, and we both had fun. You're just like, yeah, the Beatles, Jesus Christ.
Was it funny or no?
It's not really a comedy. It's not meant to be funny.
It sounds
it's
like
more
a
about. Well, it's light.
Yeah.
More than jokey. You know what I mean?
And everybody, but he's the only one that remembers the Beatles.
Yeah, and so he's already a struggling musician, and then this catapults him once he
just starts doing Beatles songs.
He starts doing Beatles songs as his own.
That's a comedy to me.
There's funny moments, but it's not meant to be. Because it takes a little kind of darker turns.
Yeah, it's absurdist, but it's not necessarily comedic.
Yeah.
And then I flipped on Shawshank again for the millionth time, and I wasn't watching the whole thing, but it was just that scene where he finally gets all the things from the state, all the records and everything like that.
And then he locks the bathroom.
And
the opera.
The guard Wiley. Do you know who that is?
Oh, it's a comic.
It's not a comic.
No, it's
It starts with Duncan.
Wait, is that who it is?
Yeah, Don McManus. It's the same guy. By the way, Gabby, that worked out perfectly because I was hoping Sean was going to kind of know who it was, just so I could know it starts with
Right. He was almost there. He had to be 80% of the way there for that to work.
Wait, is that really him?
It's the same guy because then I looked it up on IMDb and it's absolutely the same guy.
I love discovering that.
Yeah.
That is so funny. It starts with Duncan. Once after I made my first million, it really wasn't that hard either.
What do you got there, Canvas?
Oh, wait, can I give another quick shout out?
Of course.
I watched only the first 20 minutes by design of a little classic called Beethoven.
With Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin. Whose daughter we know very well, Marion.
Yes.
Is a comic.
She is a comic.
Well, her dad was fabulous in that movie.
Oh,
He's also great in Midnight Run, which is one of the
Midnight Run.
But
I mean, Charles
do you remember
Grodin
who
is
the two dog nappers are?
No. Is it Brad Garrett? No, who is it?
Oliver Platt is one.
Yes, Oliver Platt, who I love. Stanley Tucci?
Stanley Tucci.
then not too far after that, they made Imposters together.
Grodin.
They make movies together. They made Big Night, and they made The Imposters. The Imposters is great.
Incredible.
Charles Grodin is some of the driest, sarcastic comedy. He's got one of my favorite lines in all of cinema history. The way he says it with such almost loathing.
What?
When they're trying to think of the name for the dog.
Right.
And he goes, you call him Ding Dong Head for whatever.
Yeah.
You call him Ding Dong Head, he wouldn't know the difference.
So resentful of this adorable little fluffy puppy.
I just kept thinking that. I go, Ding Dong Head?
Yeah, he's good at playing a curmudgeon. He's good at playing like an asshole.
The In-Laws?
Also,
Original
one of my
In-Laws.
favorites, Clifford. He's in Clifford. He's a dad.
Clifford the Big
He's
Red
the
Dog.
uncle in Clifford.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
really
not Clifford the
cornering
Big Red
the dog
Dog.
movie, Mark.
No, not Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No.
Martin Short plays a little boy called Clifford.
Oh, my God.
So amazing.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
I don't
very
know that one.
absurdist.
It's very absurd, but it's so funny.
Well, it's time. We haven't done the meats and the peets in a while. I feel like we just haven't mentioned it. We've obviously done the
Said
segment.
meats and the peets?
Said the
We
meats
haven't
and the
said it,
peets.
yeah.
So it is that time.
It is about that time, and we have a big one. We have a very passionate one.
Gabby came in guns blazing.
I'm going to take kind of a knee because you guys are way more passionate about this.
All right, you can kind of mediate.
I'll mediate. We're doing a big matchup tonight, and also I'll say, after coming off of your first episode of Big Lebowski versus Rudy, we've come a long way. This is actually a perfect. It's a perfect matchup.
Absolutely,
I think it's a perfect matchup. Are we doing? Andy, you'll be defending
Annie Hall, the 1977 Woody Allen classic.
That's correct. And Gabby, which will you be defending?
In this corner, we will have When Harry Met Sally, the highly superior 1989 classic.
I told you.
It's weird because Andy kept saying this is a good-natured debate, but then he kept popping up in corners today, just dragging his index finger across his throat in a menacing fashion.
So you're the guest. Let's jump to you first. Just get a starting point. Why? We'll just get right to it. Why are you saying it's better than Annie Hall? You can also talk about your love for it. Why do you love it so much, and why do you like it so much better than Annie Hall?
I thought you were going to have an opening salvo prepared.
Well, no. I was told it was informal.
It is informal.
I think the biggest...
Oh, yeah, say what you want.
You can give me a point, and then we can point counterpoint it.
We can point counterpoint it if you want. But I just thought maybe if you start talking about it, you'll remember more stuff, and you'll think about more details.
Well, I think the biggest thing is the warm feeling it produces, and that is the hackiest, corniest thing I could say. But
no,
these movies are
supposed
for that.
to elicit emotion.
For that, it's the perfect Sunday afternoon movie.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They end up together. I think is a big point in its favor in the genre.
Okay. And I'll counterpoint that with I like how in Annie Hall they don't end up together, because I feel like for the majority of relationships like that, that's the more honest ending. That's the dreamboat ending. We ended up together after 12 years of bullshit.
Yeah.
We end up together. Most relationships don't succeed when it's like that. Because
you're both coming from two schools of thought. You're coming from
I'm like, in my experience,
No,
relationships.
I think it's way more realistic. But what you're coming from is because you started off with warm feeling. It gives me a warm feeling, and what happens?
The comic in me immediately comes out.
You're like, I like the misery of the movie. But I also would, there's so many of that. But here, what you also have to bring up is this about When Harry Met Sally. It was as far as those types of movies goes, like rom-coms, you see how ridiculous rom-coms have got. At least it's more based in reality than a lot of these other ones that come out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it gives you a good feeling at the end because of the ending with it.
Right.
But at the same time, that's not out of the question that they might end up together. It's like that kind of thing where it's like, it's a believable happy ending. But what happens way more in life is what Andy's saying with Annie Hall, where it's
a lot more failure than success.
The dark thing about Annie Hall to me is the prevailing theory is I would never want to be a part of any club that would have me as a member. I
don't know if it's prevailing. I think more of a prevailing thing is that we all have our Annie Hall. It's like we all have one that's like that, where you thought this was going to be the love of your life. With that being said, I think it's more of a vehicle for a failed... Yeah, it's not meant to be successful. And also, I like it more sometimes when it's... You always expect people to get together. I like twists, where he's just like, you thought he was going to end up with Annie, but he doesn't. And I like that. But
here's the thing, though, and you interject. I don't want to hog the mic here, but what I'm saying, when it comes to Annie Hall... I watched it for the first time today, okay?
Which is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I know. He was freaking out when I told him that. But the thing about it is, it's in the lexicon, at least amongst comics, maybe it's a comic thing. As far as relationship movies go, it is like in that world of like the top relationship movie of all time.
Well, yeah, and also he's a comic.
And he's a comic in the movie.
which explains a lot of conflict.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I think it depends on what you... I think there's room for both, but it depends on what you want to happen at the end of the thing. It's also a thing when you watch it, and I'm like, when I watch When Harry Met Sally, they do set you up with the sugar so much that you're like, I want to see them get together. You don't mind that they don't get together. In Annie Hall, I'm not as broken up they didn't get together. Do you know what I mean?
I think in Annie Hall, part of you I mean, I have a very strong affection for Diane Keaton, and all do. There is no Meg Ryan without Diane Keaton, I would argue.
Absolutely.
There's no When Harry Met Sally without Annie Hall.
There's not. He's absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I kind of find myself wanting Annie to get away from Alvy.
Yeah,
He's so neurotic and impossible.
And he's just a he's a subtle asshole is what he is.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
Absolutely. Even the thing of like take the classes, do this, do that. You know,
adult education.
pushing. It's just so funny. The movie's so funny,
Yes,
but it's like
so funny.
he's pushing her into stuff that ends up being like, oh, you just don't want to tell her outright to do these things. So you're like, if you want to really
is that gaslighting?
There's definitely a power imbalance there.
He's like influencing
that's
her.
The part of I don't want to be with anybody who wants to be a part of a club.
Right.
I'm it. That's that part.
It's almost like once he molded her into what he wants, then that's when he realizes they can be together. Or something. I don't know.
Which I think a lot of people, sometimes you find out a lot of times when you achieve something, it's a big letdown. You go,
Right.
I thought it was going to be so much better than this.
Or this
for a
person
lot
would
of
be
people-
perfect if
yeah, exactly.
only X.
Right. It's like sometimes, and this happens a lot in relationships, you think you like sometimes the idea of the person better
Yes.
than the actual person themselves.
Which is crazy to get into that far of a relationship with somebody if that's the case. Because it's one of those things where it's like some people just like the work of trying to change somebody, and then when the work's done, you're like, oh, my work is done. I knew a girl that I used to work with that was like, oh, every guy I've dated I've tried to change. And I'm like, that sounds awful to me. Like, I'm not saying, if the guy's an asshole, yeah, change, you want to make him more, of a good guy or whatever it is. But like, I'm like,
no more Axe body spray.
I take people. I think it depends on what you do. If you take people how they are, I take people how they are.
Absolutely.
Not that I'm saying you're not like,
but I think comics are different too. Which we're so hypersensitive to things and so observant. That's take things as they are. Is if you come across as any sort of phoniness or otherwise, we'll immediately like, I don't deal with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's
You
a
want
very
the
comic
real
mentality to have.
You want to go
like, Gabby's a good person and a lot better than us.
Yeah, yes. You want to cut through the bullshit is what it is. But you can make the argument, when you're watching a movie, I want a movie. Like, I like the idea that, oh my God, and the way when Harry Met Sally is set up, you don't know if they're going to end up together at the end
I
of it.
agree.
Because it's so reminiscent of Annie Hall, it's almost a turn on Annie Hall by having them end up together.
Right.
It's almost,
Sure.
you're almost
I mean,
being like...
It's like the inverse of Annie Hall.
Exactly.
Them starting out as
but
friends.
it's a blatant.
It's not really
It
influence.
starts with it had to be you, piano, over the exact same font.
Okay, that's what we in the biz call an homage.
Or Carl Reiner.
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, whose dad was Carl Reiner, who was in the Sid Caesar writing room with Woody Allen.
Okay.
All right. And
Now
was
you
Kevin
sound-
Bacon there? You fucking idiot. That means nothing.
Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Bumble.
But I will say, okay, so Annie Hall I think is funnier. I'm not a huge Billy Crystal guy.
Oh.
A lot of people
That
aren't.
one
though.
pained
That one
Gabby.
hurts Andy. What's not to like about Mr. William Kristol?
Well, I mean, I was more specifically his role in When Harry Met Sally.
See, he has some of the best deliveries to me in that movie.
Yeah, it's him delivering Woody Allen lines as Billy Crystal. It's a lot,
But
to
here's
be
the thing, though.
that's what people do. I think it's like something like.
But he's not doing an impression. He's not doing
it's
an
like,
impression
you
of
ever
Woody
seen
Allen.
when Larry David did a Woody Allen? It's very funny, but it's Larry David doing Woody Allen.
And in one of the movies? Which movie?
What's the name of it? It's got so many funny lines.
Oh, like The Fish in the Dark, or whatever it's called?
No, it's called.
That's the play.
What's the worst that could happen, or some bullshit like that.
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Yes, whatever works.
Whatever works.
I never watched
It's
it.
actually really funny.
But if he's doing an impression of Woody Allen, I don't think Billy Crystal's doing an impression of Woody Allen.
No.
That is him.
Okay,
he's
but
owning it.
He's a different guy. He's like masculine.
But the lines you can tell are just kind of written in just not in as an homage.
Yeah, the Jewish guy writing it, Jewish guy acting it. It comes from the Jewish family of humor.
I know,
Right,
but doesn't it
totally.
just feels like Annie Hall 10 years later. It feels like Annie Hall 2.
So we have two Annie Halls. That's pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but my point is the one is better than the other for what we do here. I'm defending mine.
I think when it comes, it depends. It's one of those things where it's completely dependent on if you're a Woody Allen fan. And I am a Woody Allen fan.
That's true. He's definitely an acquired taste, which I don't know, Gabby. Do you like his films, or do you like Annie Hall? We actually didn't even ask you.
I do. I love Annie Hall.
Okay.
And all of those lines almost are so funny. I mean, it's all right, we can walk to the curb from here.
Yeah.
When she parks the car.
The guy comes up and he goes, he asks him a question. He goes, we use a vibrating egg. And he goes, I asked a psychopath. I got a psychopath answer.
Right, and something that's become like kind of a show of affection between my dad and I is saying to each other, "You're what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew."
A real New York Jew. Christopher Walken cameo.
Oh, great. He plays a psychopath.
A lot of great cameos in Cameo Hall. You got a very young Jeff Goldblum.
Well, I didn't want to do this to you, but I'm going to have to pull my trump card.
Pull your trump card.
Carrie Fisher and Bruno Kirby as the friends of Harry and Sally.
That's a good matchup.
Well, all right. I got Christopher Walken,
Everybody loves
Jeff
Bruno Kirby.
Goldblum, Paul Simon.
Yeah. He might have you beat on the cameos. It was just those three.
And I'm trying. I think
and
there's
Christopher
some others.
Walken, and well, he's not a cameo.
Twins
he plays
Max.
a part.
Think of the mathematical possibilities. Such a great line.
Well, a thing I really appreciate about When Harry Met Sally is the conversations between the women in the movie.
Okay.
And she has these two friends, Carrie Fisher and unknown redhead.
And there you see the also
He's bringing up a
Nora
really good
Ephron
point.
written,
right?
Big Carrie Fisher collaborator, Postcards from the Edge.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She brought up a good point.
Which has no relevance on this conversation.
No,
whatsoever.
but the point is, do you think like maybe guys like Annie Hall better than women do? Is there a thing
that's
with
a great point?
Is there is Annie Hall? Do you feel like
Hold on,
is
are
Diane
we about
Keaton,
to write an insightful movie about the differences between men and women based on
Yeah,
One
I
has
think
never been made.
But do you find that like do you think Diane Keaton like she's not represented as much as Meg Ryan
Yeah,
is
I mean,
represented in Harry Met Sally?
Yeah, there's no inner life there. And When Harry Met Sally, you know, I'm thinking of the scene where they're all at lunch together. And Carrie Fisher, one of her great recurring lines through the film is she's having an affair with a married man. And her friends keep saying, he's never going to leave his wife. And she keeps going, you're right, I know you're right. And she says that so many times. And if you're a woman who has tried to get your friend out of a bad relationship, you can totally hear that.
Yeah.
And they're sitting at the table at lunch, talking about someone to set Sally up because she's just broken up with her boyfriend, who is played by
Bruno Kirby.
No.
Stanley Tucci.
Son of U.S. President Gerald Ford.
Oh, really?
His son is Sally's boyfriend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Trivia. I never
they
knew
look,
that.
Now that you know that, they look exactly the same. But
Oh, wow.
they're talking about getting married and stuff, and Carrie Fisher goes, talking about some guy that's just gotten divorced. You don't want to wait too long. Look at so-and-so. Him and his wife got divorced. Everyone said, give him time. And next thing we knew, he was dead. And Sally goes, so you're saying I should get married in case he's about to die? And the other friend goes, at least you could say you were married. It's very much like that. And the scene where she's crying and she goes, I'm going to be 40. And Billy Kristol says, in 8 years. And she goes, yeah, but it's out there.
That's pretty good, yeah.
It's great.
It's in women's heads in that way.
Right.
See that, and it makes sense because a woman wrote one of them and a man wrote the other one. But so I think that might be part of it. It may be like that's the way that the ending. What do you think of the ending of When Harry Met Sally? It's very movie magic.
I'll relent a point too.
It's a little easy. I will say that. It would have been. I don't know.
But it's also like one of the it's when they started having it like that, like the countdown to New Year's Eve, we meet up kind of thing. Like
New
before,
Year's Eve.
like do you know what I mean? Like that's why it's not. You're thinking of it in corny terms as like
I'm
this
not.
You
year.
have to
I'm
think,
not.
if you saw that in 1989,
Yeah, it would be
there
like-
weren't people running on New Year's Eve.
Yes,
This was the first one.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. And I also, the amount of time it takes for them to get together, at this point, you're going, all right, it's been 12 years. Fuck already. You know what I mean? Or did they? And then...
But that's also how relationships work.
that's what I'm saying. I was
and
like,
that's
wait,
actually
did
how
they hook up and then not date? Is that...
They
I don't remember.
are friends.
they drive to New York together.
I know, but did they have sex before they...
They have
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
And then they kind of pull away from each other. And then
didn't want to get her
in a
pregnant.
big fight about it. Oh, spoiler alert. If you haven't gotten around to it in the past 30 years, turn it off now.
No, it's...
And then they pull away because I think she thinks that he's being too casual about it. And then remember, he leaves all the messages on her voicemail and stuff, trying to get her to be friends again. And then at the end, he runs to her at midnight, and they get together. And the last scene is those. I will say the couples And
You can spoil away. It's been 30 years. Yes.
No, not
the
spoiler.
real couple.
The real couple.
That's a
very
great
Woody
ending.
Allen thing.
It's very Woody Allen-ish, but it's also great. It's great.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: like we talk about sometimes in the podcast creating the trope. This created the trope.
Yes.
Sure.
Like, and then that's why you can't get mad at the trope if it's the thing that created the trope.
Can they be friends? I mean, that's
Okay,
a
but
good, that's
then-
a good thesis
well-
for a movie. Can men and women ever be friends?
That still goes on. You know,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have stand-up acts based off this.
Yeah, totally. I will relent to you the more famous scene.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah.
Nope,
the
no
Cat's
pun
Deli.
intended.
No, I'll have, yeah.
I mean, if you go to Cat's, you still see the sign hanging down.
Yep.
This is the sign. This is the spot.
I think
Where-
people still go. Like it's almost like
Absolutely.
how
Yes, absolutely.
I'll give you that one.
Celebrities from 30 years ago still draw and sell out comedy
Right.
clubs on the road. That seat still brings people into Cats.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you.
Yes.
Because there's a few, I mean, quasi-famous scenes in Woody Allen, but I don't think the general population would know them as much as the orgasm scene in When Harry Met Sally. I'll give you that.
There's also, when you talk about tropes, there's a lot of things said in, like, a lot of jokes that are in Annie Hall that have just become commonplace things people say.
Yes.
I can't come to mind now, but I'm thinking about it, like, I'm watching it going, oh my God, this is where that's from. Oh my God. It's like very, even if it's like relationship type stuff, whatever
We
it
can
is.
walk to the curb is so funny.
It's so good.
We can
Do you know
watch
one
the
time I was
cartoon.
parking? I did kind of that thing, and Dan Shackey, one of my best friends and most sarcastic people on earth, I parked far enough away from the curb. I was parking in. He goes, "No, it's good. Now we can get a whole other car inside here."
One of my favorite things ever. I ever tell you about when I went to my friend Mike Regan. One of the best timed lines ever. My friend TJ Wett had it. Because my friend Mike Regan had a like 83 Civic that was on its last. Like if you open the door, like it was, if he just started moving, it would make noise. So he pulls up. We pick up my friend TJ. My friend TJ gets in, looks around, he goes, "What is this, new?" My favorite thing ever. But I will say this also, really quickly. Like, they tried to recreate, I think, When Harry Met Sally with Forget Paris. Do you remember Forget Paris with Billy Crystal?
No.
Which
Yes.
might have one of the funniest scenes ever in a movie. William Hickey plays his father-in-law in that.
It's not-
And he's driving him.
Is it Lorraine Bracco?
No, it's not.
but it's somebody who looks very much like
Mercedes
her.
Ruehl. Not Mercedes Ruehl. It's... Oh, I forget her name. Somebody, one of the defenders will tell us when we...
Yeah.
Tell us who the name of the woman... We can look it up, but I don't want it right now. But... William Hickey plays her father in it, and they're driving, and he's saying all the signs. So he's going, "You asked for it, you got it, Toyota." And they kept doing that, and they do like the time lapse thing where Billy Crystal wants to jump out the window. Of the car. It's awesome. It's so good.
Well, Annie Hall does have a serious leg up in form with the time
Well, I haven't
jumps
even brought
and the
out my trump
little
card yet.
experimental
It depends on what you like.
sequences.
It's like the Pulp Fiction of romantic
Well,
comedies.
Yeah, and here's my trump card is, and this is not meant to be the end-all be-all, but it's the Best Picture winner.
Was
Which-
When Harry Met Sally nominated or no?
No.
I
It
don't
wasn't.
think so.
I think it was only nominated for Best Original Screenplay, and I don't even think it won.
Okay.
But Defenders fact check that one.
In the world, in the cinephile world, Annie Hall
Yes.
would beats up When Harry Met Sally.
Objectively
But-
To this
better.
point, too, is why this is such a strong movie. It's technically considered the only comedy to ever win Best Picture.
Is that true?
Yes, no comedies have really.
did American Hustle win? Because that was considered a
No,
comedy.
and that's
I don't know
that's
why
such
that
a
was considered
garbage
such
movie.
a
I
garbage
can't
movie.
even
It's horrible.
get
It's so
into
bad.
the Golden Globes. We're going to put The Martian and comedy. Or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, it's
I don't
a
know-
musical?
I don't know why it qualifies for that.
I like The Martian a lot, actually.
Oh, I have an aside that I want to talk about, but I want to finish this first.
Oh, all right, sir.
But what you call it? The
place to be.
It won the place to be. Whatever. No, but it won the Oscar. But here's the thing: what I'm saying is this: I really do think you have a fighting. Chance.
It's a good matchup,
It's
and it's not a movie. This is what I tell most
It's
of our
not a
guests,
blowout
Gabby,
to me.
is that I like When Harry Met Sally. We had the videotape from my entire childhood. It's what we find a lot is that you end up defending and talking down to a movie you like because you have to defend
yeah,
the
it
other
happens
movie.
all the time. But it makes you realize what Annie Hall. Like I just saw it for the first time today. I don't know as much
I-
about
it's
it.
that's
I've seen it. I
mind-boggling
know
to me.
it's crazy. I know.
just say
I don't.
that.
Do you know what I think it was? I think it was, and I don't usually do this, but when some people telling me you got to see Annie Hall, you
Right,
got to
it
see Annie
makes you
Hall,
less
it
likely
makes
to
you
see
less
it.
likely to
Yeah,
see it.
I agree.
You know?
And
But
then
when
sometimes the hype can't match the.
Exactly.
absolutely,
I think that's what a lot of the Marvels are for me. Is
I
that
can
you
see
guys
that.
love them so
I-
much.
yeah,
and I'm
I love
like,
'em.
yeah,
Yeah.
with Scorsese on this one.
Yeah, I know. But when it comes to When Harry Met Sally, I feel you because I kind of like the narrative of When Harry Met Sally better. I
love all of the relationship, and I love that the whole movie is. And Annie Hall is this way to an extent too, with the exception of the little devices. The whole movie is just people talking to each other,
Yes.
walking
Yeah.
down the street, talking to each other in restaurants.
It's like
talking on
Sorkin
the
before
phone.
Sorkin.
And you really have to have a strong script to work on that. Like
And
if
there,
that,
Yes.
there are some. I'm thinking of the scene where Harry's wife has just left him, and he's at the Giants game, and he's describing how she left him, and they're continuing to do the wave, and, it's like, and she said, "I don't know if I ever loved you," and then they do it when the wave comes around. And then,
It's really funny. It also could be in a Woody Allen movie easily.
It's-
You know?
yeah.
They are very similar.
exactly my point,
But
Sean.
they're very similar, but I don't think I don't see it as a ripoff at all. I see
God.
it as its
Oh,
own thing.
please.
I do.
You're trying to please
You're
Gabby
saying
over there.
I am not.
it's working. What are you doing after this? Want to get some pastrami?
A little cat's
The little
trip.
cats is.
Dude, I was walking that show we did at Parkside Lounge.
Yeah.
Like 2 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to go over to the cellar after that, and I was like, you know what? I got time. I'm just going to walk it. I couldn't walk by cats. I went, all right, I'm going to go in. It was like 10:30. I'm like, I'm getting a
really
sandwich.
good.
And what'd you get?
I got corned beef,
Corned
actually.
beef. Yeah, I would get corned beef. Yeah. But I just think that I don't because if you're saying that, then you're like that means Rob Reiner is ripping off people in one of the biggest movies he ever had, and I don't think that's the case. I think he made quality movies. So it's like that's what I'm saying.
I'm not a Rob Reiner. I like
if
Harry
you
Met Sally,
had,
but I'm not a huge Rob Reiner guy.
It's totally banal in a way. It's
Princess
so
Bride?
It's so small.
Yeah,
It's
you know
just
my
these
thoughts on
two
Princess Bride.
people, and I love that. And I love that. Well, I've seen it so many times, but it's only like the last few that I've seen it that you can see their relationship. Like when she kisses someone, he's kind of looking, and he compliments her, and she kind of lingers. You know,
Yeah.
They have the chemistry,
Yes.
whereas the whole time you're going, Annie and Alvy don't have. Yeah,
Right.
But sometimes that works
But you
too,
also-
and that's
yeah.
why where the comedy comes from, and
Yeah, totally.
whatever. So it's I get what you're saying about the Annie Hall, but I'm just saying that it's definitely. I don't even know which one I like better. I don't know. I don't even know. Because I
Yes,
think there's
you
a lot of things about. When Harry Met Sally is more movie-ish to me. It's more like
cinematic.
it's more like, and I'm going to get killed for this because Annie Hall is considered that quintessential
One best picture.
Yeah, I know.
It's 77. Do you know how hard that was to do?
Yeah, I know, and it's part of the time period. Like, so I think that does it for you too. Like the fact that it's in the 70s, it's pretty 70s. They played tennis at one point in it, and they have these really old rackets, and I
At like a tennis club.
At like a tennis club, like people have cars in Manhattan.
Right.
It's like a heyday.
I love movies from the 70s and 80s. I feel like I missed out on that time in New York.
You definitely did.
They all have, these crazy apartments.
Yeah, to you it must look like just history.
Oh, there's a sequence in Annie Hall when they're talking about her apartment, and she goes, "I pay $400."
I know.
It's always the most frustrating
curled
things.
up in a he goes, "You pay $400 a month for this little place?"
Yeah, it's actually a great sequence. He goes, "There's bugs and there's."
You laugh to keep from
It's
crying.
small and there's bugs.
Diane Keaton, Best Actress. Best Supporting Actor, Jason Robards.
Oh,
Best Picture,
He won
Annie Hall.
that, or he got
Best
nominated?
Actor, Richard Dreyfuss in The Goodbye Girl.
oh,
I mean, I love
Same
Jaws,
year.
but Best Supporting Actress, Vanessa Redgrave for Julia. Julia was kind of directing Annie Hall, Woody Allen, writing Julia, Alvin Sargent. I don't even know Julia.
I never saw it.
And then Star Wars won a bunch of technical stuff.
Ugh.
Well,
I just want to
Yeah,
go to
I guess,
1989 as well. And then
you
we'll
know
wrap,
what it is?
then we'll
Batman.
wrap
I
up.
think Batman won it. I'm kidding.
It's
I can't remember if it was 87 or 89.
87, I think it was.
Annie Hall? Or,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, when Harry Met Sally.
It's 89.
Is it 89?
Because this year was 30 years, yeah.
Oh, you are a super fan.
I was reading up. I did my homework. I came to impress.
You did great. We're just going to see what the 89 Academy Awards were.
Well, I don't think it got nominated.
Well, I know
It definitely did, but you want to see what won.
Right, what's the contemporaneous?
Best Picture was Rain Man, which is like I'd take
Rain Man's
When
good.
Harry Met Sally over Rain Man any
so
fucking
would
day
I.
of the week.
So
Dustin
would I.
Hoffman, Best Actor. Jodie Foster, Best Actress for The Accused, and you feel like Accused is older than 89.
They do, and also nobody talks about The Accused anymore. All they talk about is her in it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor. I always remember this from when I was a kid too, because we had this videotape. Kevin Kline for A Fish Called Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda's great.
Best Supporting Actress. Gina Davis in The Accidental
Tourist
Tourist.
with William Hurt.
All
That was a
right.
big movie back then.
Best Director. Barry Levinson, Rain Man. Screenplay, Rain Man.
Rain Man's
Original
great,
screenplay.
but I'll put When Harry Met Sally up against Rain Man any fucking day.
Way better.
The writing's good.
Best Adapted Screenplay, Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah.
And
So see, that's what I mean. You can't like
Best Visual Effects. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, nice. The awards, you can't. Don't get me wrong. Annie Hall should have won. But what I'm saying is that sometimes they miss out. Like, if it was now, who knows? When Harry Met Sally might have, or if Rain Man wasn't around that year, when Harry Met Sally might have been nominated for it.
All right. Well, it seems like you're not going to give us a call because
I'll give you.
we can leave it up to the defenders to weigh in.
Let's leave it up to the defenders. Let's find out. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll start doing it that way. That we get a response. Tweet at us at Defend Your Movie
Yes.
and let us know. We'll write back. Let us know. What do you
We
vote?
always write back. Me and Sean are very good about that.
We'll call this Too Close to Call. That's what we're going to call it. Too Close to Call.
What do you want to watch on a Sunday afternoon, people?
What do you want to watch on a Sunday afternoon? When Harry Met Sally or Annie Hall? And I would have my first inclination
good God.
is When Harry Met Sally.
Oh,
For me,
get a pretty girl in the room and see what Sean. You sell out.
it's just the better movie. What can I tell you? I'm with you, Gabby. I don't know what to tell you. No, so, but defenders, we're going to start this Too Tough to Call situation. We need you to tweet at us. We'll rack up the. I'll even do a poll on the thing.
Oh, yeah, we'll do a
it that
poll.
way.
We'll do a Twitter
poll
poll.
on
That'd be a good
Twitter, and you tell us. Also, based off the episode as well, which one won tonight, and we'll say what won next week when we record, and we'll let you guys know what the winner is, and then we'll go by that, and then whatever happens, if it's Annie Hall, you can never watch When Harry Met Sally again. I'm sorry to say, and if it's When Harry Met Sally, you can never watch
Your penitence.
Annie Hall. But that is the episode. Thank you so much.
What do you got to plug?
I will be the first week of December. I'm going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Crackers.
Nice.
I think it's for 5 or 6 shows. It's a fun club. I'm also going to be at the Comedy Cellar a bunch. So look on their website, comedycellar.com. I'm at Shawnee Time on Instagram and Twitter. Andy,
I am at Andy Fiore on Twitter, on Instagram, and andyfiore.com. Providence first weekend right after Thanksgiving. We will have a brand new Thanksgiving episode for you guys to listen to.
Yes.
The day after Thanksgiving, when you're traveling and you're sick of your family and you're full, you can throw on Defend Your Movie.
and also the big stuff is still happening.
Big stuff
it's in
happening.
The works. It's a definite. It's just a matter of it launching. So
Yes.
so
things are in the process.
Yeah.
These things move slowly, but if we have to take a week off every now and then, we're going to try not to do it. But please bear with us because we're two big bears, and you should bear with us. But
Gabby,
thank you as always, to our guest, Gabby Kaufman.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for
You were
doing this.
wonderful.
You were awesome.
Thank you, guys. I had
had
such
a great
fun
time.
time.
Yeah.
And what would you like to plug, if anything?
What would I like to plug?
Twitter, Instagram. Do we want the public to know about this kind of stuff?
Or a charity you want people to give to?
Please don't find me anywhere.
I know most comics are ravenous to get their stuff out.
I would like to plug my own anonymity. That's
Oh,
what I'm
I
saying.
like
good.
that.
All right.
That's very anti-2019.
And the best way for people not to go and find you is to say, don't come find me. It's-
Thank you guys so much for listening. You guys are awesome. And we'll see you next week, I guess, right?
Absolutely. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.